Imagine this. You're locked in a maximum security prison, surrounded by 30-foot concrete walls, razor wire, guards with rifles, motion sensors, and security cameras watching your every move. Escape? Impossible. At least, that's what the world thought. But in 2015, 2 convicted murderers vanished from a prison that was supposed to be unescapable. This is the true, jaw-dropping story of the Clinton Correctional Facility jailbreak, an escape so wild, so cinematic, it felt like something ripped straight out of a Hollywood movie. And it stunned the entire world. Welcome back to the channel where we dive into the craziest true stories on the planet. And today, we're going deep into one of the most daring, intricate, and downright shocking jailbreaks in modern history. You're going to want to stick around until the end because the twists in this story just don't stop. It all starts in Dannemora, New York, a sleepy little town near the Canadian border. The Clinton Correctional Facility is massive, over 170 years old, and designed to keep the most dangerous men inside, forever. Among them, Richard Matt, a career criminal serving 25 to life for kidnapping, torture, and murder. And David Sweat, doing life without parole for shooting a sheriff's deputy 22 times. These guys were locked down and locked in. But they had one thing others didn't: patience, brains, and a plan. The first clue something was off came on June 6, 2015. Guards doing morning count couldn't find the 2 inmates. At first, they thought it was a mistake. Maybe they were hiding. Maybe a glitch in paperwork. But no, when they opened the back wall of the cell, they found something straight out of a heist film. A hole. Not a scratch or dent, but a neatly cut opening behind the bunk, covered by cardboard and clothes. Behind that wall? A maze of catwalks, tunnels, and steam pipes that hadn't been touched in decades. Richard and David had somehow navigated the bowels of the prison, using tools smuggled in over months, possibly years. But how do you get tools inside a high-security prison? This is where the plot thickens. Turns out, the 2 inmates had struck up a relationship with a civilian prison employee named Joyce Mitchell. She ran the sewing shop inside the prison. And they charmed her, manipulated her, and convinced her to sneak in hacksaw blades, chisels, even lights hidden in frozen meat. Over time, Joyce became their accomplice. She brought them everything they needed to slowly chip away at steel walls and cut through pipes. But the most unbelievable part? She was supposed to be their getaway driver. The plan was for her to pick them up outside the prison after they emerged through a manhole. But at the last minute, she backed out. She had a panic attack. She didn't show. And the escapees were suddenly out on the street, free, but without a ride, without a plan B. For 23 days, Richard Matt and David Sweat were ghosts. An intense manhunt began, with over 1,500 law enforcement officers scouring the forests of upstate New York. Helicopters. Drones. Bloodhounds. Checkpoints everywhere. Schools closed. Locals terrified. The whole region went into lockdown. The media couldn't get enough of it. People were calling it real-life Shawshank Redemption. And for a while, it really did seem like they might get away. But freedom is hard to hold on to when you're the most wanted men in America. After nearly 3 weeks on the run, the trail finally heated up. Authorities found a bloody sock in the woods. Then, abandoned campsites. Then, a cabin that had been broken into. Slowly, they closed in. On June 26, Richard Matt was spotted by a border patrol team. He refused to drop his weapon. He was shot and killed on the spot. A violent end to a violent man. 2 days later, David Sweat was found just a few miles from the Canadian border. He tried to run. A state trooper took him down with 2 shots to the torso. He survived and was taken into custody, ending one of the most expensive manhunts in U.S. history. After the dust settled, people were left with one huge question. How? How could 2 inmates plan and execute such a complex escape right under the noses of an entire prison staff? Investigations revealed massive failures. Lax security. Blind spots. Complacency. And human error, mainly from people who were manipulated by skilled con men. Joyce Mitchell was arrested and sentenced to prison. She claimed she had been coerced, threatened, seduced. Maybe all three. Another prison worker was also arrested for his role in helping them gather materials. The system was embarrassed. Heads rolled. Reforms were promised. But the scar of the escape remained. What's wild is how precise and slow this operation was. They didn't just rush through a tunnel. They studied blueprints, counted steps, timed guard rotations, even left a note behind in the tunnel that said, "Have a nice day." That's the kind of arrogance you only get from people who truly believe they're going to pull it off. And in a way, they did. For 23 days, they vanished. They lived in the woods, stole food, changed appearances, and evaded the best manhunters in the country. That takes skill. But in the end, it all fell apart because of one misstep, a missing getaway driver and a world that was suddenly watching. What makes this story so insane isn't just the escape. It's the human drama behind it. The manipulation. The double lives. The slow burn planning. The weaknesses in the system. And the fact that two murderers almost pulled off the impossible. So the next time someone tells you prison escapes only happen in the movies, just remember Clinton Correctional Facility, 2015. 2 killers. 1 civilian helper. A tunnel through steel and stone. A plan almost too crazy to believe. And a manhunt that gripped the entire world. If you enjoyed this wild story, make sure you smash that like button, subscribe for more mind-blowing true stories, and hit that bell icon so you never miss a mystery. We've got stories about spies, science, space, and things you truly won't believe. And trust me, what's coming next will blow your mind even more. Stay curious, stay sharp, and I'll see you in the next one. Because sometimes, truth really is stranger than fiction.